Relax and take notes while I take totes of the marijuana smoke. Throw you in a choke, gun smoke. Biggie Smalls for mayor, the rap slayer, the hooker layer. Motherfucker, say your prayers. Hail Mary, full of grace. Smack the bitch in the face, take her Gucci bag and a North Face off her back. Jab her if she act funny with the money. Oh, you got me mistaken, honey. I don't wanna rape ya, I just want the paper, the visa, the pisha. I'm out like the vapors. Who's the one?
The entire cafeteria froze. 310 pounds of pure muscle was standing over Keanu Reeves, fists clenched, waiting for a reaction. Keanu didn't blink. He just looked up slowly and said 2 words that made every inmate in that room hold their breath. If you want to see what happened next, hit subscribe. We drop these every single day. The cafeteria at Ridgemont Correctional Facility had its own rules. Not the ones posted on the walls by the administration. Not the ones the guards enforced with whistles and batons. The real rules. The ones written in silence, in habit, in the slow accumulation of power that happens when the same man controls the same space for long enough that everyone simply accepts it as fact. Marcus Webb had controlled that cafeteria for 3 years. Not because anyone voted for him, not because anyone signed a document or shook his hand and agreed to the arrangement. It happened the way these things always happen inside. Gradually, then all at once. Marcus walked in one day, looked around, and decided that the long center table by the east window was his. He sat there. The man who had been sitting there the day before quietly moved. The man after him moved too, and the man after him, until eventually nobody sat at that table unless Marcus said so, and nobody questioned it, and after a while nobody even remembered a time when it had been any different. Marcus Webb was 34 years old. He stood 6 feet 4 inches tall and weighed 310 pounds, every ounce of it built deliberately over years of prison weight training. His hands were the size of dinner plates. His shoulders filled door frames. When he walked through the cafeteria line, the sound of conversation dropped by half without anyone consciously deciding to be quieter. That was the kind of presence he had. Not loud, not theatrical, just heavy, the way a storm feels heavy before it breaks. He had been at Ridgemont for 5 years. He had 2 more to go. In that time, he had established something that the administration could not officially acknowledge, but privately. Order. The cafeteria ran smoothly because Marcus Webb wanted it to run smoothly. Disputes got handled before they became incidents. New arrivals learned quickly where they could sit and where they could not. The guards on cafeteria duty had the easiest shifts in the facility because the man at the center table kept things quiet, and keeping things quiet kept everyone safe. It was a Tuesday morning in early spring when Keanu Reeves arrived at Ridgemont. The intake process took most of the morning. By the time Keanu was processed, assigned his cell, handed his orange jumpsuit, and pointed in the direction of the cafeteria for the midday meal, it was nearly noon. The cafeteria was already filling up. The sound of trays sliding on metal rails, of plastic cups hitting steel tables, of 100 separate conversations running at the same time. It hit him the moment he walked through the double doors. Keanu took a tray. He moved through the line without speaking, without making eye contact with anyone in particular, without projecting anything except a kind of calm that was unusual enough in that environment to be noticeable. The servers behind the counter gave him his food. He nodded. He turned and looked out at the room. There was an empty spot at the end of the long center table by the east window. The table was about 2/3 full, men eating, talking, occupying the kind of comfortable space that comes from routine. Keanu walked toward it, set his tray down, and sat. The conversation at that table stopped first, then the tables closest to it. The silence spread outward like a ripple in water, quiet moving through the room until the entire cafeteria had dropped to a murmur, and then to almost nothing at all. Keanu picked up his fork. He was 3 bites into his food when he heard the sound of a chair scraping back at the far end of the table. Then footsteps. Then, the specific quality of silence that a room produces when it is collectively holding its breath. Marcus Webb stopped directly behind him, close enough that his shadow fell across Keanu's tray. For a long moment, nothing happened. Keanu continued eating. The fork moved from the tray to his mouth and back again with the same unhurried rhythm it had been keeping since he sat down. The cafeteria waited, then Marcus spoke. "You're in my seat." Keanu set his fork down slowly. He turned his head and looked up at the man standing behind him, taking in the full measure of him without any visible change in expression. He looked the way a man looks when he is reading a page of text, attentive, present, but not alarmed. He turned back to his tray. "I don't see your name on it," Keanu said. The cafeteria exhaled all at once. 200 men shifted in their seats. Someone near the back knocked over a cup and didn't move to pick it up. Marcus walked around the table and placed both hands flat on the surface across from Keanu, leaning forward so that his face was level with Keanu's. His expression was not angry. That was the thing about Marcus that made him effective. He rarely looked angry. He looked certain, which was more frightening. 3 years, Marcus said. I have sat at this table every single day for 3 years. Every man in this room knows that. The guards know that. You've been here 45 minutes and you're going to sit there and tell me you don't see my name on it. Keanu looked at him. That's what I said. Then let me explain something to you about how this place works. I know how it works. Keanu said. A man picks a spot. Other men let him have it because they don't want the trouble of pushing back. After a while, the spot becomes his by default. It's not ownership. It's just habit nobody challenged. Marcus was quiet for a moment, and you're challenging it. I'm eating my lunch, Keanu said. You can sit anywhere you want. There's room. The 2 guards stationed at opposite ends of the cafeteria had both straightened up. Their hands were near their radios. Neither of them moved toward the table. Not yet. Marcus pulled out the chair across from Keanu and sat down. He folded his hands on the table. He studied the man in front of him the way a chess player studies a board he hasn't seen before, trying to understand what kind of game is being proposed. You know what happens to men in here who don't understand the rules, Marcus said. I understand the rules, Keanu said. I just don't think they apply to chairs. They apply to everything. Keanu looked at him evenly. Then we see things differently. Marcus leaned back. He looked around at the cafeteria, at all the faces pointed in their direction, at the particular quality of attention that a room gives to something it cannot yet predict. Then he looked back at Keanu. Most men who sit in that seat, Marcus said. Get up. I'm not most men, Keanu said. Another silence, longer this time. Then something shifted in Marcus Webb's face. It was small, a loosening around the eyes, the faintest relaxation of the jaw. But in a room full of men trained by necessity to read the smallest signals, everyone saw it. Marcus picked up a cup from the tray of the man sitting next to him, drank from it without asking, and set it back down. He looked at Keanu one more time. Finish your lunch, Marcus said. He stood up. He walked back to the far end of the table and sat in a different chair. His crew looked at each other. Nobody said anything. Keanu picked up his fork and finished eating. The cafeteria slowly returned to its usual noise level, conversation resuming in patches, trays moving again, the ordinary rhythm of the meal reasserting itself. But something had changed in the room, and everyone present could feel it even if they could not name it precisely. After lunch, an older inmate named Gerald fell into step beside Keanu in the corridor leading back to the cell blocks. You know what you just did in there, Gerald said. I had lunch, Keanu said. Gerald shook his head slowly. Nobody has sat in that seat in 3 years. 2 men who tried it in the first year are in different facilities now. One of them asked to be transferred. Keanu was quiet for a moment, and today nothing happened. That's the point, Gerald said. Nothing happened. That's the most significant thing that's happened in that cafeteria in a long time. Keanu looked straight ahead as they walked. "Is not a bad man," he said. "He just got used to the space being his. That happens. You sit somewhere long enough, you start to believe the chair belongs to you. It doesn't. Chairs don't belong to anyone." Gerald looked at him sideways. "You could have just picked a different seat." "I could have," Keanu agreed. "Why didn't you?" Keanu considered the question for a moment before answering. "Because the seat doesn't matter. What matters is whether a man can choose where he sits. The moment you let someone else make that choice for you, you've given up something that's harder to get back than a chair." That evening, the story spread through Ridgemont the way stories always spread in closed spaces. Fast, in fragments, each version slightly different from the last. Some men said Keanu had stared Marcus down without blinking. Others said he had said something so precise and so quiet that Marcus had simply run out of ground to stand on. A few said nothing had happened at all, that they had simply looked at each other and understood something that didn't need to be spoken. All of those versions were true in their own way. What nobody disputed was the result. The next morning at breakfast, Keanu walked into the cafeteria, picked up his tray, and sat at the end of the long center table by the east window. No one said a word. Marcus Webb sat at the far end of the same table and ate his food without looking up. Two men, one table, enough room for both of them. That was the morning that Ridgemont Correctional Facility quietly reorganized itself around a new understanding. Not that one man had defeated another, but that the rules everyone had accepted without question had turned out to be negotiable after all. And the man who had shown that was not the largest man in the room, not the loudest, not the one who had been there the longest. He was just the one who had sat down and finished his lunch. If this story made you think about how much space we give up in our own lives simply because someone else claimed it, first, hit that like button and subscribe. Every single day, we bring you a new story about what it really means to hold your ground without losing yourself. Drop a comment below and tell us, would you have moved? Or would you have finished your lunch? We read every single one. The next story is already waiting for you.